Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to week 4. We're going to be talking about time management, and I absolutely love this topic. Before I dive in though, let me introduce myself. I know this group is ginormous, and so a lot of us don't know each other, even though we are all Beachbody family. So my courageous girls obviously know who I am as their upline. And I know a lot of the dreamers in here from Team Dream, but my name is Corrine Allen, and I am the founder of Team Courageous, and I am Lindsay Nix's first personally sponsored coach, so it's really cool to be a part of this with her, and be doing this together, and being here and learning from each other. This is really great. So I hope that what I have to share with you from my almost 4 years of experience will help you to be able to establish a balance with Beachbody and a more productive way of living with being a serious either part-time or full-time Beachbody coach, whatever you have decided or wherever you are right now in your business. It is our life. It is such a big part of our life. And if we're not smart about it, and if we are not on top of our time management, it can become our life. And that's not acceptable. That's not okay. No matter, where you are in this business, what your life situation is like, you want to have a life outside of this so that it can always be enjoyable to you. And my truthful opinion is having balance and understanding time management and practicing it will allow you to never get burnt out and always allow you to carry forth that excitement and just that, that love that you have, and whatever the reason is why you started, just to always feel that and have that joy, because that is what should be running our business. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple of steps, and as you guys are aware, the slides will be uploaded into the file section, and there'll just be a handful of things for you guys to look over, and it will kind of just remind you of this training and be able to, remember, like, okay, that bullet point was about this, and everything will just tie together, hopefully, for you guys. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is you have the time if you're good at making it. So I don't really do well with excuses. I know that you'll hear people all the time, just telling you, or maybe you're one of them that say it yourself, that like, I just didn't have time today. So tomorrow I'm going to go harder. Tomorrow I'm going to be better. Tomorrow I'm going to give more. I fully believe in being able to have the balance in this. And if it means that you have just one really productive power hour, or sometimes a really productive half an hour, then you have the time. You have to just be good about making it. My top leader on my team is a mother of 4. And the youngest one is under 2, and her husband is home for maybe a week of the month. She has not missed Success Club in almost 3 years. She has not missed Success Club in almost 3 years. There's no room for excuses if you want this. If you are not thinking of this as just a hobby, then you will make the time. You're not going to find it. It's not going to just appear out of nowhere. Just like with our journeys, you need to make it, and you need to understand that it's important for your business. And what do we know? If it's important to you, you'll make it happen. If not, you'll make an excuse. So I want to give you guys, I'm going to be looking at the slides over here just so that I know when I upload these for you guys that they match dead on to the conversation. So what you'll want to do, step number 1, is you need to recognize. Number 1, recognize. You need to make a list of your goals. If you're just living and you're just doing Beachbody and you don't know what you're doing and what you're living for, and you're just, like we say, like, don't live, thrive, be alive, and understand what your purpose is. Understand where you want this business to go. If it's rank, if it's income, if it's lives, if it's your own journey, whatever it is, but you're in here, so you have to recognize, and you've already recognized, that you want to be a leader and that you're ready for more. So step number 1, recognize. Make a list of your goals. Then, when you're looking at those goals, the next thing you want to do is recognize your excuses. How can we do this? So what you can do is make a list. Take one day. Take one day of your week. And I know this might be extreme, but it's one day. How much time do we waste all the time, right? How many collages and Canva images and all these other things are we spending so much time on? Take one day, get a notepad, and take it around with you, or use your notes in your phone and write down everything that you did in that one day. Everything that you're doing, and literally put how long next to it. And just do it how you normally do. Don't be like tough loving yourself and being like, oh my gosh, I'm writing this down, so that means I'm only going to scroll for 10 minutes instead of an hour like I normally would right now in this moment. So do that, and then the following day, when you start going through these steps and you recognize your excuses. Then dissect your day. Look at your day, dissect every single thing, and tell yourself, get a highlighter. Here we go. I was going to get a pen. Get a highlighter, and literally where it says scrolled for 17 minutes or whatever, stalked on Instagram, found my ex from 6 years ago, and then I found his ex-girlfriend before that, and then I found her for 14 minutes. Come on, be real, okay? Highlight that, and then recognize excuse 1, excuse 2, excuse 3. Those are all excuses, and that's time wasted. That's time management out the door, flush down the toilet, and then once you do that, make a plan. And it could be so simple. You could literally, if you just start with replacing one of that BS area to, I'm going to do inviting during that 17-minute section or 14-minute section. I'm going to go out and take pictures from my business. I'm going to put on some wear and share, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to take pictures and then share about why I love this business so much. Okay? So, number 2. Power hour versus hour. Yes, that is a thing. So it's not lack of time, it's lack of direction. All right, so bullet point number 2 is power hour versus hour. It is not a lack of time, it's lack of direction. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to do a good job at it. So make a plan. So along with having a list for your power hour, what I do every single day without fail, day off or not, which I'll get into later, is I make a daily to-do list. So before bed, you could do this, or, sorry, it just got a little dark all of a sudden. So you could do this before bed, knowing what you're going to be doing all the next day, or what I like to do, most of the time I do this, probably 90% of the time, is I do it first thing in the morning. And most of the time, I do it in my phone. I go to that notes section. I've even screenshot multiple times, for my team, and I have put all the things that I have to do that day. Now, here's where it really matters. That's just going to be overwhelming to you. That's going to be like, oh my gosh, I have all this stuff to do, and I'm only one person. How am I going to do this? You're going to categorize your list. This is bullet point number 2, and you'll see all this on the slides. You're going to categorize your to-do list with 3 things: wish, need, or must. I don't put like a W, an N, or an M next to it. I actually number mine sometimes. Like sometimes I'll just do that star, if I'm writing them in my book, or in my phone, I will put them in order, from most important to least important. And I make sure that the must of that day must get done. And I work that list. You guys hear this so much about working our list, right? With our names and just going down the list and who can we reach out to and who could benefit from this business and from my coaching. So work this list and work it hard for 30 minutes. Focus 30 minutes. This is your power hour versus your hour. Your half an hour to start with shouldn't be scrolling. It shouldn't be, looking at all these pictures and doing all this stuff. So use 30 minutes and work through that list. And then your last 30 minutes are following your Power Hour checklist. So that is also going to be on this slide. But it's the stuff that we're supposed to be doing every single day. Inviting our workout, Shakeology, emails, following up, reviewing the Coachline office, checking in our challenge groups, and the recognition post. So you have a structured hour. And if you're a mom or you're busy or you're a student, whatever, if you're busy, break them up. Do a half an hour in the morning and do a half an hour later. I rarely, our mind combined, our mind together and back to back. But I know I've worked my to-do list, and then next up is my Power Hour list. Okay? And the third point is setting expectations. Setting expectations will equal balance, time management, and more time for Beachbody. So what do I mean by this? If you set expectations and you set boundaries right from the beginning, you're going to alleviate all the BS that can potentially come with being a leader, with being a coach, with having 1 under you or 500 under you. Imagine if we set expectations and we set boundaries, how much time we'd have for our own business and for all those people who need us versus the people who we've already brought into our team and who people need those people. So our coaches need to know our expectations and need to know our boundaries. I have this started, I have this, bullet pointed a little bit differently, but I will say, I may even rearrange it before I share these in here, because first and foremost, the first thing you need to set expectations and to set boundaries with is your day off. I shared this so many times on videos and webinars and calls that my team knows, and I've changed my days off through the year because I work around my husband's schedule because that's priority. So when his schedule changes, he's in law enforcement and it changes every year. So I adjust my schedule to him. Hello, Beachbody lifestyle, right? So we get to adjust our life to our spouses and our children and everything else. And so each year it changes, and I re-establish that and I put that boundary out there. So my day off is Friday, and my team knows it. And if they happen to send me something and then realize it later, they apologize to me, yet they know it doesn't matter because I'm not going to see that. I'm not going to even look at that until it's the following morning. So it doesn't bother me. But most of the time, I am not getting messages via Facebook, email, my phone, anything on Friday, unless it's on a whole different level because my team are my friends and we have a relationship that I have worked so hard to establish that I thrive for, where they are, I am their leader and I am their coach, but those are my girls, and I would have a sleepover and dinners and anything with every single one of them because that's who I wanted to bring into my team and to my family. So on Fridays, we definitely will talk about our kids or whatever, but it's not Beachbody. So you'll see it in the thing. I will adjust it. That is number one, absolutely number one for your family. So in addition to that, teach your team GTS and FAQ. So if you don't know what GTS is, I don't really know who actually came up with it or who figured out, the initials of it, but I would like to thank our upline, Rob Pearson, for teaching all of us that, and that stands for Google that shit. So we have Google, right? Everybody has Google, and if you're asking a question that you think Google will know, most of the time Google does, so teach your team GTS, and then if Google doesn't know it because it's too Beachbody, FAQ, they can find it in the facts, and then if you're not really getting the answer that you feel 100% with and you want it to be more personal and you're trying to find a different route, then to post in the team page. And teach your team that, because that is independence, that is leadership, and that is community. So it's not just teaching them to be a leader. It's not just teaching them, go figure it out for yourself. You're teaching them to learn together and to grow together, and they're going to gradually do that as they come in and get to know each other, and grow as a team more. And then they know, lastly, that if that's not answered just, within a couple hours, let alone by the next day, their upline coach or the next up in line will answer that question and they will be taken care of. Then, along the lines of setting expectations, it's not just setting your expectations with your team. Set your expectations and your plan, share that with your spouse. Because if your spouse doesn't know how hard you're working right now for a goal, if you're in this group and you're trying so hard to reach diamond, you're trying so hard to get diamond back, or you're trying to go star diamond levels, we know that there are phases in Beachbody, just like in our journey. There's times where we're training and there's times where we can kind of sit back a little bit and enjoy it. It doesn't mean quitting. It doesn't mean falling off the track, falling off the road, and gaining all this weight back, or falling off and going from diamond to inactive coach. It means sitting back and absorbing in all that hard work and then replanning for your next goal and your next ideas while you're doing that. But if you're in a training mode in your business and you haven't shared that with your spouse, what's going to happen? They're not going to understand why all of a sudden you're putting in an extra 9 hours a week or an extra 10 minutes a day when you usually came up at a certain time. You were usually done at a certain time. Or why all of a sudden are you not going to bed with me? You're tucking the kids in and you're tucking me in, and then you're going to work for 3 hours. So your team is very important to set expectations because of boundaries and respect and leadership, but it's most important to share those ideas and share your next plan with your spouse and your family. If this business is that important to you, they need to be in the loop too. And the last thing on the lines of setting expectations is don't give your family 50% of you and your business 50% of you. They both deserve 100% of you. So all of this ties in with your time management, because if you're not setting time and you're not making the time, everybody's getting half of you. And I don't know about you, but every time I see that quote that says, I don't half-ass anything, I put my whole ass into it, it's funny, right? But you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I totally do that with my business. Or, oh my gosh, I'm literally sitting here at the park and I'm responding back, or I'm setting up a challenge pack through Coach Mobile. Oh, no, like that's not cool. That's not okay. We need to figure out how to do both and how to split the two. If you want this to be forever, you can't just be in that moment of that hustle, hustle, hustle. You have to make a plan, because what you do now becomes habit, and then habit becomes your routine, and that becomes your Beachbody life, and then in turn, your life. So you will never get burnt out if you find that balance and you make that balance. I should not say find. You don't find balance, you create it. So that is the end of setting expectations. My fourth, and it's three slides, but I have fourth and final tip and advice. Are you ready for this one? Because I think it is crucial for all of us. I mean, how into Facebook and Instagram are we? But number one, for my final tip, Facebook notifications are the devil. The devil! Don't bother them. Don't even look at them. Just leave them alone, and please don't have them go to your phone. When you're on Facebook, be all in and let it be during the time that you're allowed to be all in. Don't have everything popping up in your phone constantly. Your family doesn't want to see that. Your phone's on the counter and it's constantly this. My son knows, just to clarify, my son is 6, almost 7, and my daughter is just turned 1. My 6-year-old knows my phone is work. So he always says, Daddy uses his phone a lot less than you because his is for fun and yours is for work. So if it's constantly going off, that signals to him I'm constantly working. Work is constantly bothering me. So I do not have anything go to my phone. When I go to check into Facebook, and I'm on, of course, multiple times a day, but I don't touch that notification thing until I'm allowed to, until it's the right time of my time where it's your scrolling time of the day. And you've allowed that time knowing, hey, my power hour is done. You know, if you knock that out and that's done, you've done your 30 minutes from your to-do list and your 30 minutes from your power hour. Those notifications are all yours all day, baby. It's just like your workout. You get it done, you handle it, you take care of it. And then you know the rest of the day you feel great, your mood's great, your attitude's great, you're not grouchy to everybody and biting everyone's head off because you got your workout done. Is that just me? I hope not. All right. My next tip and advice on here is success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. So stop juggling both your family and your business and make both of them a priority because they both matter and they both deserve it. If you're here, you cherish your business and you want it to be special and you want it to be bigger and better. But what do you want it to be bigger and better for? Not just for yourself, right? You want it to be bigger and better for your family, I'm sure. Most of us are moms, dads, or want to be. We have a plan for that. And if you're just hustling all the time and everything is always work, at the end of the day, you're going to, well, I shouldn't say at the end of the day, years down the road, you're going to get to the top and you're going to be alone. And all that work and all that stress and all that hustle was for what? When you don't have them to share it with because they don't like you anymore and they feel neglected by you. They didn't have your presence. Lastly, identify who on your team gets your time. This definitely ties in with other slides, but I want this to be part of my final tip and advice because I feel like it really matters, and I feel like a lot of the time we get caught up in, well, this is my diamond coach, or this is my emerald coach, or she's ruby, she's almost diamond. Please don't identify who gets your time on your team by their rank. Identify who gets the time on your team by their effort. Because there's a lot of people who try really hard, but there's just something missing. And maybe if they had your mentorship and they had your love and your support and your encouragement and knew that you cared about what they were doing, they would reach that next level for their business and for your business, and you guys would be able to grow together. So, I kept it under definitely 30 minutes. I always prefer to be short and sweet and to the point. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my time management lesson with you, and I will be putting the slides in there for you. Thank you guys so much.